Excellent. Well, it looks like we've had a very good run, which is good because I really want to open the floor and make it interactive. I don't want this to be a presentation. We've done very well thanks to our champion here, Nicola. She summarized it really, really nice. She's covered so many areas. She's covered the career site, the posting. We didn't cover anything to do with the requisition from me knowing what parts of the platform, what are the modules in the platform, but that's perfectly fine. The ad posting and the ability to know which job board, I guess, is good for what type of role, so you can invest your advertising dollars more wisely. We talked about inconsistencies and the compliance aspect of the pre-employment checks and all that. We talked about pre-employment checks, and we talked about onboarding. And in the onboarding, we talked about the automations to the stakeholders, the various stakeholders in the business to know a new person is starting and what they need to do, provisioning, etc. And we talked about finally the automating the data entry into Chris 21, the payroll system that you use. So that covers so many areas. So I'm over the moon that you covered all that. Thank you very much. Unless there's anything you want to say, I would love to open the floor.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too technical, and I may have gone a little bit too deep there on some of the parts, and I don't want to confuse people. So I'm happy to, if anyone has any questions, we can get more specific if needed.
Do we have Cassie still here? Oh, hello, Cassie. And Lucy over there. Guys, that's the marketing team who's been working very hard to make this possible. So thank you, guys. Really appreciate you. So we're good to do the Q&A now, Cass? All good? Fantastic. So guys, do I need to do anything mute or whatever? We're good? All that is going well?
Why don't you guys mute yourselves? And then that way this one here.
Yep, done.
Fantastic.
And then we've got Eddie on standby who's going to let us know if there's any audio problems.
Okay, so guys, hit us with any questions, right, Cass?
Yeah, anything you like.
Please, I'm an important person here. Try to ask me some questions. I know she's going to steal the show, Nicola. I'm warning you. I'm going to be very upset if you don't ask me at least one question, but go crazy.
We actually had one before, and it was from Jennifer. It was when we were discussing onboarding packs and contracts, and she asked if it merged into HRM. I think you briefly talked about it with payroll, but I don't know if you wanted to talk about integrations potentially a little bit.
Now that Cassie framed it like that, if you feel you would like to rephrase the question more specifically, but I tend to agree with Cassie. I think that's our understanding of it.
Well, I think we started talking about it just after she asked the question.
Yeah,
okay.
I thought so as well, but just didn't want her to think we weren't answering it. Jennifer, don't worry, I got your back.
So from just one tiny clarification, maybe, you know, from the integration framework that we have, it really doesn't care what kind of system it is. Anything in the ecosystem, the HR ecosystem or technology ecosystem, really we can set up integrations, whether it's a learning management system or HR system or payroll or anything else. Really, to be honest, we don't care. We primarily feel as if it's going to be naturally the payroll system, but really doesn't matter. So.
Cool.
Okay, next question, guys. By the way, can I just say if somebody is more comfortable to talk, use the raise your hand feature. We're more than happy to let you talk if you're not comfortable to type. So whatever you're comfortable with to either myself or to Nicola, go for it.
I have a question for you, Nicola, actually,
Okay.
since no one else has taken the floor.
Go for it.
I'd like to know if you have any advice for anyone on this webinar today that may be going through some recruitment and onboarding challenges or are thinking of adopting some sort of digital software. If there's anything from your experience that you can give them for them to learn from you.
Sure. Through maybe the search?
Yeah, the search potentially, or your requirements, or...
I think that the thing that comes to my mind is, I think we were really lucky, and we did it right in overestimating how long the process would take for us, because what we did was, for that 3-month period that I was seconded, it meant that I was completely free from my regular role. I was focusing just on this, and while the system itself could have been implemented in less time, I was able to refine lots of other things in my time there. So I was able to use what the platform could improve in terms of our functionality to then complement, other areas that were sort of sitting outside of the platform. So having that 3 months to dedicate to rolling out the platform and getting involvement from our leadership. So I would go to like our workforce steering committees and present to them and get their feedback on how, the decisions that were being made by me and the sort of more local HR team, to get input from them and work out if there was anything else that I wanted to look at. And I think that really allowed us to customize the system and the platform, as much as we possibly could before, going live and using it. So I think that was invaluable.
I have to comment from what I know myself. I mean, the way you guys went about this, it was really methodic, was so thorough. I mean, you guys must have had about 7 meetings during the sales process. I remember I was dragged into a couple of those meetings because Janine or Pav would say to me, oh, the CEO is going to be on this meeting. I need you to come in. And go, whoa, very rarely that we go into a sales meeting with the CEO is there. So at some stage there was one meeting, there was 15 people in that meeting from Montefiore, the entire leadership team. I mean, this is amazing. It's a really pretty important project for you guys, and you wanted to get it right, and you brought everybody on that journey to the buy-in from them. So anything around that you felt helped you later on? Was good for you later on?
I think that exactly what you just said. There was buy-in from the beginning from multiple people in the organisation. It was an important project that we were working on. And so it was really good to keep those people involved throughout the process and make sure that we were delivering what we expected to be delivering.
Okay.
So it was a great experience.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yes.
What question do we have now?
So we've got 2 questions. We'll start with Joshua Harris. He's asked a question. It's in the chat. I don't know if you have a chance to see. It's a bit of a long one. What options?
I can't see it. Where it's in the chat.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm in the Q&A. Why do they have 2 things? Chat and Q&A. Can we disable one of them or something?
Potentially next time we can look into it.
Okay, I can't see it. I don't know where
I got you. What options do you have for automated role-based account creation and device/equipment management systems?
I really need to see it.
That's what I thought.
I just clicked on the chat. It popped up now. Okay.
Perfect.
It's just what options do you have for automated role-based account creation and device equipment management systems? I guess you're talking about automated, automation to make sure the provisioning accounts are being created to the right system for that person, and the procurement of the right equipments for them, for example, computers or medical device or whatever. Can you just confirm, Joshua, that's what you're talking about, pretty much provisioning, system provisioning and procurement of equipments, just to make sure?
Yes, he said that's correct.
Okay, correct. So we have Nicola. Would you like, Nicola, to, from your perspective, I think it's better if you answer that.
Okay, can you
the automation?
Which part of the automation?
Sure. So imagine, the IT, how you were able now to let the IT people that provision the new email address for that person and starts to add them to different systems they need to have access to, how the automation can help to let them know ASAP so they have enough time to provision all that.
Yes, okay. So it's basically a prompt, but it gives them the required information about the person. So from requisition all the way through every step in the platform, the information filters through. So things like cost center. So when the role is raised, so a manager puts through a requisition, so raises a request to recruit to a position, they have to select a number of fields which are customized. So if they're a particular manager, they'll have a cost center that's linked to their, what their position is in the organization, their department, what roles that report to them. All of that they won't be able to request a role that doesn't report to them, if that makes sense. We've set it all up in the back end. That's what we did when we implemented. So when you get to the point of onboarding someone and we set up an automation, so it's basically just an email that gets sent to our IT email user group. So we send it to multiple people. In that email, you set up fields that come through from that beginning phase or maybe later in the process. So their full name, where they're going to be working, are they a casual, a full-timer, a part-timer, and then our IT team.
And maybe what systems they need to have access to?
So the email won't tell them what systems they need to have access to.
Sorry, Nicola, that is definitely possible. As a matter of fact, the manager in the requisition could maybe indicate what systems they have access to, and that can flow through into the email as well.
Yeah.
Whether it's needed or not, just
for our IT team, I think, I mean,
they sort of know.
They know based on the position what access they would need.
Yeah.
So it's not something that we've looked at
Sure.
adding in at the moment, but I mean, we've been live with the system for 6 months and we've already made so many changes. So I think as you
when you say changes, improvements, you mean?
Sorry,
thank you very much.
Yeah, so we've kind of learned new ways or new things in the system that we didn't quite realize at the time when we were going live, or we weren't ready for that yet.
No, we love the continuous improvement. I'm serious now.
Yeah.
It's actually a great thing. The fact that it's an agile process, you don't have to sit there trying to set it up for 6 to 12 months and then you can't change it once you set it up. My goodness, that's the worst thing.
Yeah. No, definitely able to customize and make improvements, which is great.
Cool. Joshua, if there was any APIs that allows us to even do the provisioning directly, we would be delighted to then implement that as an integration piece as part of that provisioning as well, as opposed to, as Nicola said, just letting the right people and remind them to do what they need to do for either the provisioning or for the procurement. So if you have a procurement system and we need to pop some stuff in it about, oh, here's the person starting, that's what they need, we'd be delighted to also implement that part of the whole integration framework that we've been investing in to make sure any new integration that we need to bring in that adds value to the process can be done in a very cost-effective way. A lot of reuse in the framework. It's a very, very significant framework. It's got a lot of building blocks that we can reuse quickly to put together a new integration piece. Cool. Next one.
Yeah, so we've got 2 questions. We'll start with Leonard and then we'll move to Gail. So this is from Leonard. I might be off topic, but does this recruitment software individually screen resumes for prospective employees, or are they still done manually by HR?
The individual screens, well, Nicola, you've mentioned the screening questions, for example, so you can customize for every role what screening questions you need to make it really pretty straightforward for you to get the information you need, whether, okay, we're going to at least shortlist them and start the conversation with them. On the other hand as well, part of that screening question, you can even set what we call auto screening. So you can say, look, if they answer this kind of answer, let's say it's a drop down with yes and no, and if they say no to this, I don't know, do you have the right to work in Australia? You can flag them to be not, you don't want to consider them anymore. The whole record comes up as red. You can just ignore it, move to the next one. So there are tools like that as well. I guess, sorry.
In terms of reviewing a resume, for Montefiore, we review the resumes, but I guess further to what Anwar said, we use that, the screening tool to be able to screen out. So something that we use often is if we're looking for a permanent full-time position, for that position we would put in a screening question around, do you have any restrictions on how many hours you can work each week? And if someone answers that they're on a student visa and we know that they're restricted to 40 hours a fortnight, they will flag. So we can still review their application. They're not just, not able to apply. It just flags it with us so that we know. So maybe we could consider students for some of our casual positions, but for a permanent full-time position, we know that only the people that have answered that question with unrestricted, that we would review their CV from there. So there's ways that you can make the screening process easier.
Yeah. Also, in the list that you're looking at, the applications against that job, we present to you in a list more than just the name. I wish we had a screenshot to put up. We present to you a lot of information, for example, where they were working, where they are working at the moment, or the last job they had, how many years of experience they have,
is this the candidate profile?
Their current job title. Sorry.
Is this the candidate profile that you're talking about?
That's at the top.
the list of candidates against the job. But that's okay, Cass, I can explain it, thank you. So, you know, to be honest, that gives you a lot of that knowledge to be able to know that this is, you know, I think I don't need to really consider this any further.
Yeah.
So really it's not as bad as you think. However, two innovations that are coming online pretty soon. One is literally February this year, just a couple of months, where you'll be able to have the auto rating based on setting you know, score system against the screening questions, not just to say, look, this is definitely a no. If they answer, say, you know, this particular answer to that question, they are not considered, but you can also end up with a scoring system, and the list is actually ordered by that scoring system. That will be coming online in February. It's been on the cards for about 6-7 years, and clients tell us about it during the sales process, but once they're on board, they realize it's not actually that much needed, and therefore we would end up focusing on other parts, and it's not really hard to do. But at the moment, it's becoming more and more that we've been hearing about it as requirements. We decided to put it on the product roadmap for the short term. The other innovation that we have is to do the same thing to rate or score the candidates, you know, and sort them based on the psychometric assessment profile. So we have a product that I don't think yet Montefiore adopted.
Quite started that process yet.
Sure. We have the video-based and AI technology-based psychometric talent assessment that creates a Big 5 score. And so if you have, we can help you to, on a per role basis, to create the ideal profile for that role, whether you use your own psychologist or some of the people that we work with. And once we've identified that perfect Big 5 profile, we can then, as soon as, which is within 15 minutes, as soon as the candidate completes their video interview, the Big 5 rating is available, and then they get a score as we match them against the ideal profile for that role. So 2 innovations coming online that will help you with that kind of automatic, if you like, scoring system if you have some kind of high volume roles.
I just put a screenshot up of what it looks like, actually, the psychometric assessment.
Yeah, that's when you're in an individual, thank you, Cass, when you're looking at the report. So as I mentioned, once you send the invite, takes just a click or automated even from a certain stage, they get the invite to record their video interview. Once they've finished, I've got so many screens and a small laptop, sorry guys, trying to sort out through them. Once they've recorded their video interview, within 15 minutes, the psychometric talent assessment report is created. So you'll be able to go into the tab under the candidate record and see the report as Cassie is showing us on the screen, as well as being able to, at the same time, see what the question was for every question they had to answer and play the actual video. Cass, oh, that's a screenshot. No, yeah. I was going to ask you to click on that thing.
I can play it if you like.
So tempting when you see something like that.
Don't know if everyone wants to hear me.
So basically, that's Cassie did this for you guys clearly for privacy. We're not going to use any real candidate data. So you would click on the play button to even watch how Cassie answered that question, because big part of soft skills assessment, including psychometric assessments, is what the candidate says and how. So you're able to see that, plus see what the report that was generated by our AI technology that's based on the Big 5 framework is actually telling you. So you can see the two side by side. So that is already available, but what's coming on board is to be able to create an automatic matching against the role, against the ideal Big 5 profile for that role. And so Cassie, not just you'll be able to see what you're looking at, but also Cassie now is going to get an overall score compared to the other applicants, whether that's 80 out of 100. To me, I would give her 20%, but I think she's doing an awesome job today. I have to say, I can't upset her today. She's doing an awesome job. She's in control of everything right now. The right timing. Okay, fair enough. I'll take it back. Apologies. All right, so next question.
Yeah, this one's from Gail. So she said, where is the best place to start if you wish to review the system?
To review the system, you can create a free plan and have a play.
Yeah.
And we actually support the free plan account. You're welcome to call us and we'll give you a hand to customize it if you're not sure how to do it on your own and have a play. I mean, it's indefinitely you can have a play. It's really a proper free tier where all the functions, put it this way, 90% maybe of the functions are available for you to test, but we limit you with the volume. So you can only have one job open at any one time. So for testing purposes, it's absolutely perfect. And otherwise, just get in touch with Cass after this, or let us know now whenever you're ready. We can put you in touch with the sales team that can give you a demo as well as help you to set up the account. So either way. Hope that makes sense. Next one.
Don't have any more at the moment.
Okay, I'm sure Cassie or Lucy, you've got some questions for Nicola.
Oh, don't put us on the spot like
What
that.
about
Come on. Lucy, one
Nicola,
question.
you've been killing it.
How about something that you're still learning because you're new
I'm
to
still
the team?
new. Okay.
So something you're on mind about a feature
Nicola,
maybe that Nicola can answer.
What is your favourite feature and why?
Okay.
Awesome, love
Yeah.
it.
I love.
My favorite feature, selfishly, because I am responsible for this part of the system,
Yeah,
is the contract generating. So in that onboarding phase, and how everything's done for us, we kind of just select based on the options that are set up. You don't have to, like, you can have templates outside of a system set up for contracts, and you can use those. And yes, they make your life easier, but this is different. This is like, you just have to select the options. You don't even have to really type anything. And being able to send that through to the manager to then sign it within like a few seconds. Like if they're at their computer, I mean, they sign it straight away. They can even do it on their phone. So the turnaround times for getting that sort of stuff out is amazing. So that, I think, is my favorite part of the platform.
brilliant.
Awesome.
I have a question for you.
I'm sure you do, Cass.
I have plenty. I'm going to be here all night. Have you, like, since implementing this new process and obviously refreshing your recruitment and onboarding functions, have you had any feedback from maybe candidates or any other
leadership team,
users,
managers.
like leadership team? Exactly. If you just let me finish somehow.
I'm so sorry. My sincere apologies.
I forgive.
So from our managers, I mean, they are all sort of still learning the system, the ones that have been able to use it, because some of our managers don't recruit all the time, so may not need to use the system. But the good thing about this is I think you don't have to be a sort of system guru to get how it works. You're kind of prompted how to do your parts as a hiring manager. So it's a very seamless process, and we've got feedback around that from those managers. When we first went live, one of our first employees that we onboarded through the platform was one of our senior managers, like it was a senior manager position. And so I remember I had, been responsible for the project, and then to have this senior manager go through the process for being the first person that goes through the new system, I was really nervous. I was like, oh gosh, like, of course it has to be this way. And he unprompted sent through feedback about how welcome he felt, all the communication that he received throughout the process of him, moving his way through the different stages of interviews and pre-employment checks and onboarding. So he was really complimentary, and that was a really great start to going live with the system, because it was an extra boost of confidence, I guess.
I know I could be, I've got a conflict of interest. I'm the CEO of the platform, but I visited almost every single time, 90% of the time when I visit clients. That's the biggest thing that I get. I was at a mining company out of Queensland, and the HR manager and the head of talent acquisition talking to me about the platform. They gave me some feedback. Some of it was, things they would like to see improved, clearly negative in a sense, and there was the positive. And in terms of the positive, the number one for them was when we see people post recruitment, so we're on intercommunication or whatever, the biggest feedback when they reflect on the process when we were talking to them through the recruitment onboarding is how amazing the onboarding technology was, how easy to work with, and they felt important. They felt that they were joining the right company. Something like, we knew you were a good company, clearly we wanted to work for you, but that onboarding pack really elevated our perception of your organization. So,
It's got a huge impact, and I couldn't fault it. It's amazing.
Thank you. It's an honor. Thank you very much.
The contracts, they really get me.
Okay, it's Lucy's turn.
Oh,
We've got virtual crowd, except the crowd is here. But we call it virtual crowd, but
He's
I don't
putting
know.
us on the spot. Okay.
Come on, you're doing well so far. Keep trying. So we talked about favourite feature. That
Yeah.
was the first question.
Have we talked about police checks? Do you use our new police check integration?
Wrong question, Cass.
No, it's okay. You don't use it at the moment yet, so it's perfectly fine. Go for it. So you're not using it at the moment?
No, so we do our police checks direct through ASIC.
Yep.
Got you.
Yeah.
So you collect, for clarity, I'm perfectly fine with that, Nicola. For clarity, you, part of the pre-employment checks, you collect the required information.
Yeah, so
from
we
the
still
candidate.
use the platform to
Yep.
issue the form, and they return it through the platform.
Sure.
And then we
Log on to the portal
Yeah,
with
outside
ASIC,
outside of the
you
platform.
put all the
yeah.
information in, and within a day, 2, 3, you'll get a report back.
Sometimes straight away, if they
And
have.
ASIC provide that integration with the police and all that?
I'm not sure.
It doesn't matter, the government thing, yeah?
Yeah.
Something like that,
Yeah.
a government organisation.
Yes.
So you enter the details of the candidate, name, surname, date of birth,
Yeah,
driving
all
license, ID,
Addresses,
etc.
all the information you
Yep.
need for any regular police check.
Yep.
And yeah, it comes back either
Yep.
straight away, or if they've got like a
Yep.
common name, maybe it'll take a couple
Sure.
of days to process.
Sure,
And then that's the police check done.
no worries.
Yeah.
So just for clarity, which is I'm perfectly okay with that, and thank you for being kind about it. But the reason Nicola said it's the wrong question, I'm more than happy to be 100% transparent about that. At the moment, our friends at Montefiore feel they're paying less when they do it directly, but it makes perfect sense. I guess we are charging premium to make profit. We use the same, eventually we're talking to the same people at the police, our friends at the federal police, really.
Yeah, but it means you don't have to go outside.
Exactly. So the way we do it is we add a margin for us to make profit from it, but we create that convenience where it's done within a couple of clicks. And so there's more accuracy, quick,
For sure.
and then everything in one place. When that report comes back, you don't have to attach it to the candidate record either.
Mhm.
You're prompted, there's automatic prompts to both the candidates and the users when the report comes in. I guess we charge for that convenience and automation. Perfectly fine. It's your choice how you want to do it. This is perfectly cool. Cool. Next question.
Oh wait, is there one?
Sorry, what happened?
There's another one.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's one. Okay.
Do you want to read? Oh, do you want to read it?
Which one? I just need to-
What measurable improvements could be seen when adapting this system and the streamlined onboarding process? Was there a reduction in candidate drop-off rates?
It's still early days. I don't actually have an answer for that. Very good question. I think measurably, like from what we could measure to date, just getting the documents back in a timely, in that required time frame is what's been the most noticeable difference. And especially for our payroll team, they were having to chase people, which they just don't have capacity to do. So when there was a form missing, they would have to follow that up. That can't happen now. We can't
Sure.
release the documents until they've completed everything in that
Sure.
pack.
Sure.
So from what I've been able to measure in the time we've had the platform, that would be something that I could definitely comment on. In terms of candidate drop-off.
I can maybe help
Yeah.
you just to present different areas and see if you can provide a gut feel on that, if at all possible. Otherwise, I can't say. We can maybe break it up into, say, 4 or 5 pieces. Say the requisition process, maybe it was a PDF form that you have to print and fill out, and now it's all automated. So that maybe shortens the recruitment process a little.
Oh, yeah.
Saves managers time.
Yeah.
If you're doing, I don't know, without giving away anything about your turnover or anything from 250 roles to 750 roles, you can imagine if there's half an hour in there, that's a bit of an indication. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Then the posting that you talked of and the support that you don't have to now allow for the candidates, you're not supporting them with username, password, all that drama, the copy and paste and posting of the ads. There's tons of time and money, I guess, there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in terms of time in the process, I would say,
Efficiencies.
efficiencies,
gained.
saving. But I'm just, because I think Mark was sort of asking in terms of the onboarding process, what have we been able to measure? And in terms of drop off, I'm trying to think of how many candidates have been sent a pack but never completed it. That's what I'm trying to think, because that would be a measure. And I don't think, I mean, maybe there's been, I could probably count them on one hand in 6 months. So I would say that that's pretty low.
No question about it. I have similar experience myself. I've done something really naughty, but I can, to be honest, maybe people can forgive me for it. When I was in my 20s, I was in the IT industry, and I had this agency that, was trying to headhunt me for my next contract. And the process was really clunky. I mean, they came in, it was on the phone, and I had to go to their office and whatever else. And when it came to onboarding, they said, "Oh, we're sending you now the contract." I mean, I hadn't seen the contract for 5 days, and I hadn't seen the contract. In the meantime, someone really, really smooth, another recruiter, came and met me in the cafe where I was working next door. And they told me about the role in an amazing way. They brought the manager on a phone call almost the next day, and they took me to the company, met with the managers and everybody else. And I haven't even yet got the contract from the other company. I ended up actually switching and signing the contract before the other contract came to me. So I sent in an email, apologize, I'm not going to take your role. And then I see the contract and the pack arriving 2 days later. I mean, I don't know if something here tells a story to learn from, but
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important that you keep your applicants, aware of what's happening and where things are at, because you've got to keep them motivated and interested. There's lots of competition out there.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, you're talking to the candidate, and you negotiating, I don't know, start date and final salary and bonus and whatever else, and you go, cool, let me just get this approved, and you go into the approval thing, and within minutes, if you're the manager, you can probably approve it as long as within budget straight away on the spot. You can give them that verbal agreement, and then within literally seconds, while you're on the phone, probably you can say, "Can you check your email? The onboarding package right there. Just you've got a few days. Can you please get that signed within a few days?" I mean, compared to my experience, that's where I ended up dropping out. So anyway,
my partner's just gone through the exact same experience as well. But we'll move on because we've got a couple of questions, if that's okay.
It's for another
webinar.
Okay.
A webinar totally dedicated to onboarding.
It's totally dedicated to partners.
Okay, so we've got one here in the chat, and it's, other than police checks, what are the other pre-employment checks, and how does the system support?
Right, let's reference check, for example. At the moment, you use an XREF.
Yeah, we use XREF. Shout out to XREF.
And a great, fantastic company. And we've done full integration with them, but as I understand, you haven't connected it to systems yet.
Not yet. But my understanding is it's very simple, easy
Literally,
process.
if we start now, in the next 30 seconds, you could be integrated. It's an OAuth, just like when Google says, can you give that system a permission? Just the fact that you're logged on, it will recognize that, and then you just need to click yes, I give permission, and boom, they're connected.
So we use so reference checks. I think I mentioned we do work rights checks. I mean, we get our consent form through the platform, but all work rights checks have to be done through the Department of Immigration. What checks do we do? We have a stat dec form that we also send through the system.
Do you do children?
No, we don't need to do those ones. But yeah, I mean, similar situation, you could definitely include those.
For clarity, from a platform point of view, as opposed to just your own experience, we, as a reference check, there's at high level 2 options, I guess. You can use our own standard automated reference check, or you can work with any of the partners that we have. Right now, we've completed the integration with XREF, and we're delighted to work with them. But also there will be a referrer that's coming online by the end of March, hopefully. So you'll be able to use either of those 2, and hopefully in future more, as well as ours is always available as well. So you can pick and choose which one you want to use from the capability of the platform, and it's 100% automated, and would definitely get you integrated with the XREF thing. So other
Pre-employment checks.
Pre-employment checks. That's a good point. What else?
The psychometrics.
You guys do?
The psychometrics is a.
Do you guys have any requirements for some roles?
We haven't typically used psychometrics, which is why we haven't delved into
Sure.
that part of the platform.
Sure.
But I mean, I'm sure it's something that down the track we would.
Gail, do you have anything in particular maybe you want to know about? And we'll, because
I think
we're
that
just.
was someone else that asked that
Oh,
question.
okay. So just in terms of the pre-employment checks, if you have anything in particular in mind, we might have just forgotten to which ones we have or not have. We're happy to then zoom on those in particular. But in the meantime, what's the other question, Cass?
Yeah, from Gail. What information do you believe is necessary for reporting requirements? For example, where applications are coming from, the number of applications, etc.
Yep. Do you use those reports that we have in the platform about the return on investment from your
I haven't
advertising?
accessed the reporting part of the system as yet. I
Yeah.
think Alex was looking at the reporting.
Sure.
But I mean, feel free to jump in, Anwar.
No, definitely are available. I guess they wanted to know from your perspective, from a reporting point of view, you haven't sort of focused on that area yet, what your priorities would be, but from the capabilities,
I mean, from what I said before, and where the applications are coming from is key for us
Yeah.
because we like to know where we can advertise in the future.
Yeah.
And with that number of applications, of course, if you're getting more applications from a certain job board, that's a good sign for future advertising.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of what other reports there are. Can you remind me?
oh my gosh, there's so many. For example, the time to fill, to, how long it took you, how many days from the time, for example, the requisition was created, or from the time the requisition was approved, or from the time the ads are posted. There's multiple time to hire sort of metrics.
Yeah.
There's what we call the progress report, where you can see for every role, where are the candidates, the shortlist is sitting in which stages, and how long it took to get them to those stages, and see information about them. So, for example, whether they've submitted now those kind of pre-employment checks. Are they sitting in the medical? Are they sitting in the police check? Are they sitting where? And have sort of overview. And you've got what we call the stats report, gives you a big overview about, okay, in this time period, last 3 months, last 12 months, 3 years, etc., how many ads in total are posted, how many applications in total, what's the average time to hire, what's the breakdown of the, for example, based on the gender for women, how many applications were rejected right straight away without even progressing.
Right. Okay.
In terms of bias or understanding how you're progressing on gender kind of equality and stuff. There's tons of reporting, and it's an area we're improving on all the time. We hear requirements all the time, and we go, that's interesting, and we implement it for everybody in a sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll need to delve into the reporting functions to work out where we can get.
I'm not going to help you with it because you think you have your mate Pav is your favourite, so you can call Pav then.
I've got him on call. It's all good. Maybe I haven't looked at the reporting function because our team is just so efficient that there's no question about how long things take us to do.
There's no rules about every company's what their priorities are and when.
I think Alex has definitely had a look at the reporting, but I think I was involved in something else at the time, so I haven't actually got to that. But
and to be honest, people resort to reporting when they know there's something broken. They want to know where the problem is. So I guess because everything's flowing so nicely, probably
we don't need to prove anything.
I remember one of the, none of us come from the HR background. We're technologists with passion for products and customer service and whatever. And one of the things that we really learned about, 7, 8 years ago, our clients used to tell us, this report that we have and we need, we call it the blame and shame or name and shame or something. Excuse me, name and shame? All right, can you explain? She goes, okay, so when we're sitting in a meeting with the CEO, we have always this kind of, let's call it disagreements between HR and the managers. HR says, the managers say, well, that's the reason I've got 50 people, empty seats in my department. And because I'm not getting, quality candidates or HR aren't doing their job. And HR goes, excuse me, I've got 20 people shortlisted waiting for your feedback for every one of those roles. But yet we want something to prove that quickly. I can print it, take it into those meetings to show them. So that's, I guess, when things aren't going right, you want reports, Yeah. So that's definitely
I guess it's better to have the option so that it's good to get in the habit of reporting on on these types of things to work out how maybe there's, you know, lags in certain areas and you can improve in how you're using the system.
Sure.
And,
Sure.
engaging with people at certain phases
Yeah.
in the life cycle.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. What else? Whose turn now? The hired crowd. Lucy and Cass from marketing. Maybe they can ask a question until someone else has. How long have we been going for?
We've been
5
going
minutes.
for an hour and
For an hour and 5 minutes. We've done a fantastic job. You've been an
Wow.
amazing co-host, Nicola. You've done a fantastic job. And you guys, clearly, we wouldn't be even talking in here without you.
Yeah,
We
thanks
still
for
have-
all the questions.
Exactly. We really appreciate it. We appreciate you being there because that clearly gave us the motivation for this. We wouldn't have done it without you. So we're happy to stay on if you have any more questions. Otherwise, maybe we'll wrap it up over the next 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just sort of last shout warning in a sense.
Maybe. What about talent pools? Do you use them,
Oh, yeah,
or
talent pools.
Okay.
Has that not come
are
up
you
yet?
thinking of
Okay.
using them?
We do use the talent pools, in particular. So we have a dedicated talent acquisition advisor in our team. So she does the majority of the recruitment, and then I help out as well. And I think she particularly uses them in situations, and I think this is when they're best used, is if, for example, we're advertising for a role, there's one position, but you've got 3 great candidates, you can only obviously offer the role to one of them. And so having a conversation with those 2 other candidates about, you know, future opportunities and using the talent pool function to keep their applications on file. And we've got talent pools set up for different positions. So we've got a talent pool for, you know, our leisure and lifestyle team, for example, the roles in that department, or physiotherapists, for example. So it's good to have the option to be able to look back on candidates that you've already met with and spent the time going through an interview with, and giving them the opportunity to come on board down the track if they're still looking for work.
And you customize the talent pool name and stuff, so you know how to filter them and search through.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Got one more question for you, and then I think maybe we wrap it up. Your career site, which obviously we do, the home care one, I think it is. Correct me. Your career site, your job board.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you find that in terms of functionality? Do you find that you have a lot of candidates coming through there? Or do you find like Seek or Indeed?
No, we do get candidates, and it's good that I looked at this yesterday. I was looking at this particular role I was looking at for a registered nurse, and I wanted to know where all the applications were coming from. And I think I mentioned before there was about 60% that came through one particular job board. But there were, I think, out of 70 applications, 10 that came through our website.
Wow.
So our careers page, which is great, which is really good.
You know, for that's something Cassie is very passionate about. She's written blogs about, and she's trying to promote through the marketing, channels that we have, is this concept. I'll let you explain it, Cassie, in 2 seconds. This concept of your candidate is your customer, and your tomorrow, and vice versa. Your customer tomorrow is your candidate, and that sort of nice vicious cycle in a sense. It couldn't be more true for an aged care company. It's definitely a consumer product, you know. It's not a company business. You're dealing with 3 people. The daughter and the granddaughter and the granddaughter of that client of yours are involved in the process to bring that older person into your homes, and they are a consumer of your brand, but they're clearly alerted that the granddad is there. And if I'm a registered nurse and I hear great news how they are treating them, and when I go and visit my granddad, I feel this is an amazing place. Of course, I want to work for you. I'm not going to go to Seek to find your ad. I'm going to go to your website, and if you have a beautiful career site, I'm going to apply for it.
Yeah.
And here you go. You've just saved yourself ads and investment on Seek. Cass, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, no, I think you covered it completely. I mean, when you go into your career site, you've got your values listed. You show them more than just your name. You tell them the experience, who you are, what it would be like to work for you. You really leave a lasting impression, which is exactly what Unwa's covered. It's not just about trying to get candidates. It's also about your impression as a business, and elevating your employer branding. So 100% what Anu's mentioned, I think you covered it really well. No wonder you're in marketing.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm trying. Cool. So it's been fantastic. We still have 25 people on the call. Guys, we're probably going to wrap it up if you don't have any more questions, because Nicola has been amazingly generous with her time. You guys have no idea how much we really are grateful. She's coming in for a practice run to make sure we're all going to be on the same page with the tech and everything else. And she helped us on Monday with a quick trailer to send to the people that bought tickets to give them an idea of what it's going to look like. So she's been extremely generous with her time. We're not going to keep her on for any minute that we don't need to. If you feel that you're happy with the webinar, you've learned what you want to learn about, we're just going to wrap it up. I'll give you 5 seconds. I'm going to do a countdown now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I guess
See you, everybody.
Thank you very much, everyone. We really appreciate you. And thank you, Nicola. Thank you, marketing.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
You're amazing,
you,
guys.
everyone.
We really appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
See you.